Well, hello, my whatnotters, and my YouTuber friends. Hey, Cherry Bomb! Hey, hey, hey! I'm so glad you got to come in too. Um, so this is just like a chat. I have stuff in the thing if people want to auction, but it's more like a chat. So in November, this is my way of giving back. I've always done this, even on my YouTube channel. It's more like a gratitude. So when I first came to Whatnot, I was a buyer. I was not a seller. So I have met a lot of wonderful people on here that were sellers to me to give examples of how to sell in the community. I wasn't ever planning on being a seller over here because I was actually selling through YouTube, but I was putting everything into my um, Etsy store as a special order because I did crafts. And most of the stuff I sold was like tools to craft, kind of like paper items and just, your stamps and things. So tonight I wanted to come on and just say thank you. And there are two people. I couldn't do all my favorite buyers tonight. So what I did is I'm going to do them just whenever as a thank you. But there are two sellers that really stand out to me when I first came to this platform. First, I came here because of Viv, who was Texas Boutique. She sells under Buy and Thrift with Viv now through Instagram. I started on the Instagram platform, met a lot of makeup artists, ended up in YouTube. This is kind of my history as far as platforms are concerned, but literally I started on the web back in 2001. I was in Yahoo and I ran a chat room for 6 years, which was a lot of fun because it was under family and home, and we had a blast. And then eventually I was here before YouTube was even created. But I didn't know the common person could have a YouTube channel. I thought it was just, famous people like musicians and things like that, because that's what I used it for, was DIYs and music. But I found my way to Whatnot eventually. It was a journey, to say the least. I wasn't sure about selling here. But I figured, why not? I was listening to Foster Friends Thrift. I love Spaghetti. I think she's the awesome person on here. And if you don't know her, she raises money for foster kids. And I remember a speech she gave because I was nervous about selling here because I'd been a buyer here for so long. She was like, I just came here and you just do it. You don't think about it, you just do it. And her words were my final push to try. But two people stood out to me when I first, as a buyer coming here. There was a lot of sellers that stood out, but I met Ghost in the Attic first. She was the person who I purchased off of the first time. And then through her, I met Schmidt Auctions. I met Penguin Boss. I met Pretty Corn and that crew. And oh my gosh, did we have so much fun getting to know each other. And then eventually, yeah, it spread out to different people. But two people, no matter what streams I've been in, day or night, really stood out to me because the feedback that I had back in Yahoo chat years ago was there was a guy that came, his name was Clint. We're still friends. He's on my Facebook. He said, I had been in many chat rooms today, even my state chat room, and nobody said hello to me until I came to your chat room. And he says, I had like 15 people flying up the screen saying hello to me. And he says, and for that reason, you will have my loyalty to come and visit to chat. Because we played music, we chatted, we played pool sometimes. We had a lot of fun in the chat. Well, his words always stayed with me because I know that there's people on here that are kind of socially out of it. I've met a lot of people through the years who, were shy or they socially stood out, and the internet helped them bring their personas out because it was easier to talk to people that couldn't see you and didn't know your life. And it's amazing how many people do open up when they come to the net. Well, no matter what chat I've ever went to, two people resonate with me and stood out to me because they always said hello, no matter what time of the day or night. And one of them was Cherry Bomb's mom, Ho to the Mo, and the other was Glitterbug. They were always the most vibrant people. Hey, Tammy, how are you? And you don't forget that. You don't forget the people who welcome you into streams and who make you feel comfortable. And I've always wanted to carry that part of my persona to me no matter what platform I went to. So they're the first two people. That's why I was bugging Cherry and Mo for her address, because I had gifts that I pick out for certain people. And the first two is going to be Danielle, which is Ho to the Mo, and Heidi, which is Glitterbug. So I got gifts they're going to be getting in the mail. So since this month is gratitude to me, I hope my YouTube people know this too, because I have done gratitude giveaways a lot of times on my YouTube channel. I used to do a back to school giveaway over there, and sometimes people, hello Sustainable, sometimes people didn't have the same things in the same store, so I would do a giveaway once a week in November to thank people just for hanging out and sticking around on my YouTube channel. So I figured, why not do it here? So, like I said, Ho to the Mo stood out because she's always been so nice to me on here, and Glitterbug. I don't know how anybody could not love Glitterbug. Heidi is one of the most fantastic people. So instead of doing a gratitude once a week, hey mom to cat, doing a gratitude once a week like I would do on my YouTube channel, I decided this year what I'm going to do. And I don't know if all of you have been watching any of the videos to the people who were affected by the hurricanes. And I know it was from Tennessee, clear down to Georgia to Florida. I actually have a father-in-law in Pensacola too. But North Carolina really reached out to me the most. And I want to thank some people for the sales that they have on Whatnot. Hey, Penguin Boss, I was just talking about you earlier. So what I did was I put two people down on Whatnot who are fantastic sellers. 614 Deals, DELZ, and Storage Pirate Auction. They've had quantity items that were great for hurricane victims. So I have purchased things, and I'm going to show you some of those things here in a minute. This is my gratitude for the month of November. If you want to see the real deal of what's going on in North Carolina, and I'm not talking the news because they're not showing everything, I have some channels on YouTube, and no, Whatnot, don't take this wrong, that I'm trying to get your traffic over there, because that's not what I mean by this. Is I want people to really see the true deal and a real address that if you want to donate to people in North Carolina, there is a church, then it goes directly to the people. I will have links under Tammy's Passions. If you go to my first live there or my first video there, below in the description, it will have the links to 4 YouTube channels that kept me in touch with Tennessee and North Carolina. If you have anybody you know on YouTube that will connect you with what happened in Georgia and Florida, I would appreciate those links too, because I want to add the states. And one of the things that I loved about this, even though it was a tragedy, is these really kept you in touch with what was going on the ground. You know, what the people were really up against as victims of these hurricanes. And I love that connection, because if you don't know people in the States, you wouldn't know where to go. And so I'm going to share some of the names of the people so that you see where I get my information, and you can check these out. I'm going to put just the names of the channels in here with the @ symbols. But if you go to my YouTube channel under Tammy's Passions, you'll see not only their names, but their links. And Deep River Farm was so great for keeping everybody in touch of the needs of what's going on in North Carolina. They even did a live concert on their YouTube channel to benefit. They're part of a church. They're a Baptist church. The other person that I want to share with you all, this is Patera. If you don't know who Patera is, she is an awesome YouTuber that covers what happened in Tennessee. She was a part of it. She introduced you to people on her channel and what was going on. This guy here, Real Estate Mindset, he is fantastic interviewing people there. Let me get his name here. I'm copying and pasting this from my memo pad on my phone, so give me a second. And these are for the people who are interested. The Appalachia's channel is Patera. Deep River Farm 3615 is the Baptist church. And then the Real Estate Mindset, he's a great interviewer. And like I said, if you know anybody on YouTube that covers Florida and Georgia, I would appreciate it. Or the Appalachia's channel is another part of the mountains. I'm sorry. The Appalachian Homestead with Patera is Patera. And these are wonderful people, like I said, to go and check out. And then the last is the address to where donations are coming. It's called General Global Methodist Church. And then underneath of that, Central Global Methodist Church. Underneath that is Helping Hands. The address is 300 S Main Street, Asheboro, North Carolina, 27203. And yes, the addresses are okay to give out because they have them in the descriptions if anybody's interested. Let me put this in here. So you see, but all this is under, it's not going to show, it's muted, but it's not going to show probably on my live over here, but you guys can come over to my YouTube channel and find it. So anyways, so you guys get an idea of some of the things that people sell. Thank you for the tip. Me and my husband sat down, and I hope my YouTube people see this too. I can't see your text over there because I only have one computer running at the time. I'm sorry. But I sat and thought, what do you do when you've lost everything? You know, there's people who are sending water, which they need, food, tents, tarps underneath the tents. I love these channels because they keep you updated daily on what they need, what the needs are of the people, and then they distribute it. And right now they're trying to get winter items. They've had people donate heaters for the insides of tents and things like that. But I figured I would send some stuff down that I found interesting, just in case. I don't know where these people are washing their clothes or if the churches are helping them wash their clothes. But one of the boxes that I have, and I always send a little card, it says the hurricane victims on the outside so they know what it's for. And Deals had these in bulk. And what these are is antibacterial wipes. I got a whole bunch of these in bulk off of him, which I love this. This is why I like these two. And what they're selling, because they're selling things in bulk for a decent price. So you can see I have a whole bunch. I figure if they can't have access to water, because some don't, this would be great. And if they do, here is some laundry detergent that Deals had. These were, I don't know if these are returns or bid or what they bid on, but these are fantastic. I don't know why people would return this kind of stuff, but This is one of the boxes I'm going to be sending for gratitude, because I told Deals when I was shopping from him, and the people, when you're in fighting over certain things and people are trying to bid against you, it's like, this isn't just for me. I thought that makes any difference, because people are going to bid what they're going to bid for, but just saying, sometimes when I'm shopping, the stuff isn't always just for me. So then I thought, okay, so now that we got that part out of the road, what else would they need? Well, then I watched a video, and the guy said that they were winterizing. This, I had a while. I had this stuff for a while that I had put together. Like I said, I put hurricane donations on the cards, and I try to send them cards like, be still, know that I am God. And then I wrote a message inside, or just letting know that you're thinking of them, like thinking of you cards. So here's some footies where they're in by the twos. All people always need to keep their feet warm. Some beanie hats. If they're looking for winners, I had some kids' gloves. These I didn't get off of Whatnot, though. I got this off of another platform. These are some slippers here and some socks. These I got off of Deals. He was selling these blankets, which I thought would be nice. They're nice and fuzzy and toasty. So I got 3 of those in here to keep somebody warm. Look how cute these socks are. The little face. Something to try to cheer these people up who have nothing. We did some soul searching. Like, me and my husband talked about some items we wanted to send down there. And you can send whatever you want to if you're interested. They could use all the help they can get. So I got these boxes ready. And I'll be honest, it'd be cheaper to send these in brown boxes than to send them in priority, because priority is very expensive. But I'm going to do priority. And then I thought, what else could I send? So then Deals, and I'm talking like 9 toothbrushes for $3. Where are you going to find that kind of a deal? So Deals had a whole bunch. These are all toothbrushes. So there's a whole bunch of these. There's another card. I sent down a couple deodorants if they need to carry items. I sent down a couple little bags in case they need to carry their toiletries somewhere. Because like I said, I don't know where these people are getting showers and stuff at. And then, of course, I have 2 of these in here instead of being the detergent. These are the Dove Baby. These are baby sensitive skin washes for somebody's kids. And then here's another case, a carry case, brand new. These are all brand new items for somebody's toiletries. So this gives you an idea of what I have been up to, because I have been busy offline, putting stuff together. I'm always busy behind the scenes, because people will say, where have you been? This is where. Busy doing stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to get ready for the holidays. I've been trying to get my house cleaned up for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and busy, busy, busy. So there's that box. And then another box I have, which I have quite a few, things that people probably don't think of or could think of. Here's another box. This has got a card in it. And then what I put in this one is some ponytail clips, because, I like my little ponytails. This is what I look like when I'm cleaning. And here are some dish towels. Anybody could use cleanups. And if you happen to have any leftover items, like if you have a birthday party or if you have a graduation party and you have any leftover pieces, this is like awesome to send because it's all disposable. This has napkins, cups, small paper plates, big paper plates, and plastic forks. He had these in bulk, $2-3. He was selling these a piece. I'm telling you, deals is where it's at when it comes to this kind of stuff. Especially if you're looking to donate or you're looking at, so I put 2 of those in. And from what I hear, the water isn't drinkable or nothing like that. So, that's why a lot of people are sending cases of water and truckloads of water. But I figured I'd add a little twist to it to help them with some other stuff. And then here's another card. I love this card. This card is so pretty. I used to have a card selection. Welcome in, welcome in. Hey, Cheryls. This is my donations to the hurricane victims. And this is the card I said. Thinking of you and your loss, he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep them in all thy ways. Psalms 91:11. It says, with the wish that the angels of peace will carry you through these sad days and bring you to a place of hope and comfort. Because I know there's a lot of people from the hurricane that have lost hope. And so I wanted to try to hopefully these gifts will add some hope back to these people. But that's everything. So it gives people ideas if you want to donate to the hurricane victims. And like I said, it's in the description under my YouTube channel, but the address goes straight to the people because I know there's a lot of scammers out there too. You got to be really careful who you're donating to. It goes to Central Global Methodist Church. And then under that, you put Helping Hands, 300 S Main Street, Asheboro, which is Asheboro, North Carolina, 27. Let me get the zip code cut off. 27203. That's the zip code to the church. And then they distribute it to the people. And if you watch Deep River Farm 3615, they show where they divide the boxes. And they're taking a lot of this to the mountain people where people couldn't get items. And he tells you their updated information. All those channels that I put under my description will explain to you everything that's going on, what's needed, and where you need to send it. And I think they're even doing a toy drive. Deep River Farm has, I think, a Baptist church address under his, and there's a program they've been running for years about helping the kids. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. I was trying to remember the name of it. There's a specific name for the program. He said it started years ago, and he tells you the story where a guy used his $25 bonus at his job and donated it to a kid in need. And it turned into a program. Started years ago, and this man's like in his, I don't know, 80s or 90s or something like that. It's been going on for a lot of years. Project Santa. And like I said, you could send money, but make sure when you do, in the little part, if you send a check, make sure you put what it's for. The Project Santa is P.O. Box 175, Denton, Deton, North Carolina, 27239. And the physical location of that program is the First Baptist Church. And like I said, that's who he represents. And if you look these addresses up, you will see that they're legit places. These are definitely not scams. It is, the The physical address of Project Santa is First Baptist Church, 383 W Salisbury Street, Denton, North Carolina, 27239, or you can call 1-339-859-3531. And Deep River Farm is the name of his YouTube channel, and you can see everything in his description too of where to send things. But they keep you updated on what's needed all the time. Like he does videos all the time. They just did a fundraiser concert to raise money for the victims, but North Carolina hit me the worst. Like I had to quit watching videos for a few days because it's just tragic. Very tragic. And I'm not saying it's not tragic in all the states that the hurricane hit, but there's something about North Carolina that really tugged at my heartstrings because it was the worst. A lot of these people weren't prepared for it and they didn't see it coming. And it's not like they had a tornado warning and were asked to get out when the rivers busted. It was just, you just got to watch the videos to understand. And the ones that I put in my description will help you get there and get to the real truth that's not being told in the news. So this is what I wanted to share with you all tonight. I'm not really here to sell. I'm just really here to say that prayers are going out to you all in North Carolina. There was a family there that lost 8 members. I can't even imagine what these people went through. I just want them to know there's hope and there's other people in the States that are feeling their pain and we care. So, you do what you want out there in the webland, but this is my point of gratification for this November is to send things to people that could really need it. And with that, I just want to thank everybody who have subscribed to my channel and between YouTube and over here on Whatnot, my platforms. Being reached in 1K is just a buyer was really interesting. And my second will be coming up because I'm past 2,000 subscribers already. And half of that is buyers, half of that, was as a buyer and half was a seller. So you will see an upcoming show on my 2K, but I wanted to do this for now. And then I will do my 2K later. And I have met a lot of people across the platforms, from Lux to books to paper ephemera to Pokemon card dealers. I have met coin dealers. I have met so many great people on here that sell so many different items that it's been an amazing journey. Hey, Shabir. Hey, Jamie. And like I said, if you need any information on where to donate for North Carolina victims, please go to my YouTube channel, Tammy's Passions. Hit where it says more. It'll drop down the description, and it'll give you the real people that are not scammers that will keep you updated. There's channels under there, and there's an address to 2 churches. I think I have 1 church under mine, but Deep River has more. And they tell you the updated of their needs. And that is my gratitude for the month. And we'll see what happens. I'm going to I'd like to do another video in December for my 2K and do more. But right now, all I'm doing is donations to the victims. If anybody wants to see anything, and I'm not really selling anything, but if you want to see anything in the auction part, let me know and I'll show it to you. I think the only thing I haven't showed in there was the Tiffany necklace. And all the money I make anyway is going to go towards shipping for the donations. This is the Picasso. The Tiffany Picasso necklace. I don't know if you can see it because my cam's kind of far away. And this came off of a wonderful seller on here. They go under, it's Piper's Closet. Something in Piper's Closet. Their name's cut off. Here's the receipt here. And they are legit sellers, so you know that it's a real Tiffany. It's Pana, P-A-N-A, Pan and Piper's Closet. PANANDPIPERSCLOSET. Very, very nice married couple. I don't have the Tiffany bag. They sent it in a black, but that's the Tiffany Picasso. It's the cross heart at the bottom. So if anybody's looking for a nice gift, this would be perfect for someone. And I have the information in the thing about it. But like I said, all of this is going into, and if you can't spend $110 on someone, you can always send me an offer. But I thought that was really nice. I purchased it for someone and didn't realize the chain wasn't going to fit. So it is what it is. Sometimes it happens. I think these chains are like 16 inches or something like that. And I'm used to having 18 and longer. So it's for a young lady. Be nice for graduation. Hello, Lost. And thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And all my stuff is going towards donations for North Carolina victims. And like I said, everything that was on my YouTube channel, all the information and ideas on what to send will be in this video replay, because I go live on YouTube. So whatever you miss here, you can see on YouTube. It's going pretty good, 9. Hey, Rita. Just doing a gratitude video of donations towards North Carolina hurricane victims. So if you want to rewatch the video, you can. I have my lives reposted on YouTube, and I think it shows on past shows on Whatnot. So you can see what tonight was all about, because it really wasn't about selling. Just getting ready to wrap up and get ready to take my dog. And I'm lagging really bad because it's rainy here. I'm in my back garage tonight. I'm in a position I'm never usually in, because my camera's usually facing down because I sell books. But I just wanted people to get the information if you want to donate to North Carolina victims, where to send the items and all that stuff. And I hope you're doing okay. I get a runny nose. I think this weather keeps changing. 1 minute it's allergies, next minute. Well, thank you. Thank you for the follows. We get the season change, and then we get the cold weather change. We got snow coming soon. Hey, PSCN Creations. I know, I love my crafters over here too. I miss crafting. I had an Etsy store open, and then I kind of came to Whatnot, and I haven't been participating in crafting lately because I got books, because my life's a mess right now. I own a used bookstore. I have a licensed used bookstore on the bottom of my house for 11 years. When COVID happened, I ended up on Whatnot selling. So that's how it all happened, is right after. So I've been downsizing my bookstore to make room for my craft room. my bookstore is half bookstore / craft room right now, and it's a mess because it's all mixed together. So I've been trying to get rid of books so I can get back to crafting. I really miss crafting. And I come over here and I watch you crafters doing all these fun things, and it's like, You know, my family almost settled in Kentucky. They traveled to a bunch of different states, and then they came back to West Virginia because that's where their parents were. But my mom told me they almost settled in Kentucky. I've been to Louisville once with my dad. Yeah, Kentucky's a cute state. I've never been to the Kentucky Derby, though, but I do love horses. Oh, that sounds nice. There's a lot of really nice places around for sure. And I love Tennessee. Tennessee is just, it's so beautiful there. I've been to Florida for visiting, but I wouldn't want to live there. I don't know. Florida didn't appeal to me. I guess I'll always be a mountain girl. It would be weird for me to live anywhere else because I'm so used to being around the hills and the mountains. But going to Tennessee, we actually had a cabin off the side of the mountain when we were there. and Pigeon Forge. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun going to Dollywood and checking out all the areas. We actually horse trailed at the time. It's been a while. We rode horses on the horse trail down on Douglas Dam. My husband told me, he said, if we ever renewed our vows, we should do it on horseback. I said, that'd be fun, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting old now. I don't even know if I can get on a horse anymore. It's been so long. But I love horses. I've always loved horses. One of these days, we just got a camper, and I told my husband we need to go traveling. I want to go live the nomad life when we retire, if we ever make it there. It'd be fun to go around state to state. The top of my bucket list would be to stay in each state for a month. It would take 4 years to complete and come back. but we'd have to come home for the holidays, though. But 4 years, could you imagine? Just to see the whole United States would be so awesome. My mom and dad went everywhere out west before we were born. I said, that's not fair. You didn't take us with you. But she had been to everywhere but Memphis. She loved Elvis. So here, probably about 5 years ago, she finally got to go to Memphis. That was the only state she hadn't been to, a place she hadn't went. So I was happy for him. And my grandparents actually got to go to Hawaii. I think they're the only parents. My parents didn't go to Alaska or Hawaii. I think she said Alaska, Hawaii, Tennessee, and California were the only places they didn't go. But my grandparents did get to go to Hawaii, and they really loved it. Before they passed away, that was one of the places they got to see, which was really nice. But anyways, I always have stuff live in my bin. I try to leave my stuff live when I'm done. And then, I got more stuff I got to add eventually because I still have a lot more books. Do I have a lot of books? And then my bookstore is eventually going to be turned into my craft room completely. I'm in the process of buying paint to redo the whole room. So I've been busy, but it probably won't be till after the holidays because I got too much stuff to do. I got 6 grandkids and 2 daughters. You got a set of twin granddaughters, Layla and Livia. And then they're not identical, though. One looks like mom, one looks like dad. I have 2 grandsons. I have the Brady Bunch. 3 grandsons and 3 granddaughters. So busy times. It's been fun shopping with them, though. A lot of the stocking stuffers and presents I got for them was actually off of Whatnot. Foster Friends Thrift, she did a lot of Kuromi sales and My Little Kitty, and she had a lot of really cute stuff for the girls. And then Pokemon sellers I hit up for the cards for my grandsons. And then there's another dealer on here I met because I have a grandson that collects football cards. So, Whatnot is wonderful. They have such a variety that there's no reason why you can't shop for all your Christmas on here, seriously. But like I said, I started out here as a buyer and became a seller with not the intentions of becoming a seller. But I did. But I also have to say, not all the sellers are great over here and Whatnot. You can crucify me if you want to for this, but yeah, sometimes you got to live and learn over here. And I don't know how some of them are still selling because they've ripped people off. But all I can say is if you get something and don't get something, definitely report it. Sellers, own your stuff when you make mistakes and fix it. And, it's crazy. It's definitely been a journey. For sure. Aw, that's so sweet that your dad liked Tennessee. Yeah. But you got to be careful on who you know. But I do love the suggestions that people give. And 2 people I knew on that became sellers over here, they were actually YouTube live sellers as Locker Nuts and Pirate. Let me see forget what his name is. I always forget his name. Storage Pirate Auction and Locker Nuts came from over there. Jack and Jana's Locker Nuts, wonderful married couple. They are a blast to hang out with and watch. And they're really good people. Jack's hysterical. I love watching his videos on YouTube. He is so funny. He's like a little kid when he's going through lockers. He even plays with the toys. He's just a riot. And then 614 deals with a Z. I met him through Whatnot, through a Lux category. And he does a lot of returns in bulk. And that's where a lot of my stuff came from that I'm donating to North Carolina, because he starts everything at $3. Unless it's a high priced item. Like he had an air fryer that was a toaster oven combined, and he'll show you the price, but then he still does half off. So it's like you get so many deals through him. It's crazy. And I actually mod for him too. I really, really like him. And a lot of my donations were from him. And Pirate's another one. He's got some good deals on his channel. They just pull random stuff out of boxes, and it's really cool. I got my Christmas lights off of Storage Pirate. Really nice Christmas lights for outside. He's like the Christmas light king over here. So when I refer you to people, you're going to have good people, because these are people I've known for a while. They're not just somebody I bought from one time and say, hey, go shop with this person. Sometimes I think the best advice you could give to people here is to study people first. Watch a few and read the reviews. The reviews are very important, because, sometimes people give negative reviews over stupid things. Like, I don't understand why you're allowed to review a giveaway, but it is what it is, I guess. So people get mad over giveaways. I'm thinking why it's free, but whatever. But read the giveaways on stuff they buy. I wouldn't pay attention to the giveaways as well as I would the purchases. But the reviews are very important, and I try to when I purchase off of somebody, as I open the stuff, I go through everything and I give a review automatically, because I know that it's important for people to get reviews. So that's how I do it. And my packaging is, I wouldn't say I have the best packaging, but I try to do the best I can. But I'm used to not making people pay for air. So when I pack my stuff, I pack it tight, because when I was a seller on when I sold stuff over on YouTube, and I did it through my Etsy, I had people from Canada and New Zealand order. And if you know, when you're shipping out of the country, it is a lot of money. So for instance, I would go and test just to test, what things cost. So I packed a priority box to go to the UK, and I will tell you, it was $78 to mail a priority. You definitely don't want to do priority out of the country. And so I told the guy why. I did a giveaway for somebody in the same size box. It didn't cost me no $78. It was like $35. And he says, go ahead and repack it in a brown box. So I did. And yes, it is. It dropped it from $78 to $35. Same size box. I kid you not. And in the States, priority is not always the answer either. Sometimes the brown's cheaper. Me and my husband about died. This is the flat rate, large. It's like $26 to mail this, between $20 and $26. That's ridiculous. I can get a box that size and do it for $13. So, you got to test when it comes to shipping. I think shipping is the hardest across the platforms, but I do know that they have a deal on Whatnot with the United States Postal Service. So I don't know how they get away with doing, priority boxes for $7.88 or whatever that original shipping is. I don't know how they get away with it, but I usually try not to use priority unless I have to. But that's just me. I'm picky on shipping, but I'm so used to packing everything so tight, because when I was shipping through Etsy, you're paying for air when there's anything left over. So I would pack things as tight as I possibly could to give them the best shipping. So, and it always worked. I mean, they were like, "Oh my goodness, that's so much cheaper." And I'm like, "It's because I pack it as tight as possible." And I got that habit, and I really don't need to do that over here, but it's just a habit. Because I know I had a friend on here order clothes for me. I'm thinking, what is she thinking when she sees this? Because they're like balled up as small as could be when she got them. She's probably thinking she don't pack very well. But to each their own. Everybody's going to do their own thing their own way. The way I feel about it, if your package is still closed and nothing's damaged in it, you're doing good. No matter how you do it. Glass, I think, is the hardest. I can't tell you how many pieces of glass I've ordered off of Whatnot that's come busted. I think that's just the hardest thing to ship. Yeah. And two, like, um, there was a lady, or no, there was a guy's channel. I was in the Soul Funko Pops thinking of what you just typed, Rita. He literally showed a Funko with its head bashed in. I swear it looked like somebody took a ball bat to this Funko. That's the worst Funko I have ever seen delivered. He showed pictures. I was like, holy, I mean, you would have to really hit a Funko really hard to bust its face. It was horrible. He was a seller and he showed it. He's like, look at this. So, yeah, some places can be very rough for sure. Well, I don't, I gave a review and just told the person, that it was busted because I would open it on my YouTube channel. I did my unboxings there, and that's kind of like my proof. When something goes wrong, like if you got to show receipts to Whatnot, the best thing to do is if you can make a video of an unboxing, whether you have YouTube or not. Just make a video of unboxing stuff. That way you have proof your stuff was broken, or print, or take a shot of it with your camera. You can take a picture or screenshots. And so that's how I've always done it. Is I keep a record if something is shipped wrong. But I'm not necessarily going to give a bad review over that, because to me, I know that a lot of the glassware is kind of vintage. So you're taking a chance shipping that anyways. And I'm not going to get mad at somebody because, something comes with a broken tip. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, the person can choose to give you money back or not. I really don't care at that point. I try to super glue things if I can fix them. Like I had a little horse come in and his leg was broke. And I mean, the horse was tiny itself, and it has like the legs were real thin. So it didn't shock me really that it come broken, but I just super glued it. I put it back together. I'm not that picky of a buyer. The only time I have a problem is when something goes wrong and Whatnot tells you to message the seller first. I always believe in trying to work it out with the seller before reporting, because to me that's just, that's what I would want people to do. Come to me about something first, but own it. And some of these sellers don't own their mistakes. They just don't. There's one seller on here, all they do is push items, and they're not fixing the mistakes they've made with a bunch of other people. Not just me, but others. And some people are afraid to report, especially if they see that a person's like in the 50K area. They're like petrified. Because I even noticed that on YouTube, that if a couple YouTubers get into it and one's a low number, they're afraid to say something. I said, don't be afraid. Just because you have a low number, don't let their numbers bother you. I don't have fear when it comes to stuff like that. If somebody does me wrong, I'm going to try to contact them first. And if they give me a hard time, I'm going to report them, because it's just rude. As a seller, you have to be respectful enough that you've got people taking their time out to shop with you, and they're taking their time to be with you. I know when I shop on here, I'm not just a shopper. I shop like I do for a card for my family. You know, when I go to buy a card for my mom or dad or kids, it's got to say specific words. When I shop on here for gifts, it's the same thing. If I'm spending 3 hours in your sale shopping for really good stuff, and then you turn around and make a mistake, and I come to you and you treat me like shit for it, I'm going to report your ass because that's a lot of my time, energy, and money spending time in your shopping with you for you to act like that. And I've made mistakes as a seller. I have. I made a mistake once. Hey, Shell Shops. She's one of my favorite sellers too on here. I'll tell you my mistakes because I've owned them. When I sold on YouTube, I made a mistake of having boxes lined up of orders. And I'm not ashamed to admit my mistakes. I had them lined up. I still don't know how because even though you print your own labels, I didn't know. I'm thinking, what was the post office thinking when I set this through? Because there's no way this weight would have even came close to matching. I sent 2 packages to the wrong people. They were to the people they shouldn't have went to. So the one girl says, she messages me, and she's like, well, we knew each other because she's a crowd. She's like, Tama, she says, I have been my boss. I'm like, what the heck is this stuff? I didn't order it. I go, oh my God. I said, what did you get? And she told me. So I told her, I said, could you please do me a favor? She says, what? I said, could you take it to the post office, take a picture of what it cost for you to mail it back to me, and the shipping. And she's like, okay. And of course she had PayPal, so it was easy for me to send back to her. So not only did I reimburse her for her shipping for fixing my problem, and the other person, same thing, I also gave them free shipping as a thank you for doing it. That's what you do as a seller. You can either say, hey, your order's free, hey, your shipping's free, but you should not just pay them back for the mistake you made. You should offer them something, in return. So because they fixed it, that was fine, and it was great that I had people that I could trust that would even take the time to go to the post office to fix this mistake for me. You know what I mean? So, and then on Whatnot, I sent one of my friends on here an order and forgot something. It was sitting right beside me, and I totally just overlooked it and forgot to stick it in her package. And usually I am a stickler, like 2 and 3 times I check orders to make sure I don't make mistakes. Well, you still do. So I forgot an item, and she's like, Tammy, I got this order, but this was missing. And I'm like, hold on, let me go check. And I ran downstairs. There it was, sitting right on my desk. And I said, listen, I'm just going to mail this to you. So I paid the shipping and mailed it to her, and everything's fine. But that's what you do as a seller. You have to own your mistakes. You can't just blow people off or, no, I didn't, and deny the shit. You have to own it. And I hate when sellers don't own their mistakes. I hate it when they don't. It's awful, because to me, it just doesn't make them a good seller. Yeah. See, that's what I mean. And some people are afraid to. They're afraid to do that, Rita, but good for you. You should. If you contact the seller first, because what people don't understand is if you have a seller that'll sit there and tell you, oh, I took care of it and it's just going to be delayed, do not protect yourself. According to Whatnot's rules that I read, and they told me, when you get an order and you receive it, 7 days is all you have to report that order. Do not listen to delays. Protect yourself. I don't care if this person's a friend or who it is. If you've only got 7 days to fix that order and that person's delaying you, if they delay you past that 7 days, you have a hard time getting a refund back because they'll tell you. And another thing that happened with one seller on here that really, really made me angry. And I don't understand why Whatnot replied the way they did on this. The packages were sent to the post office. The post office ruined the packages, and there's a reason why this happened. But they took out revenge on the seller because of what she did, because she wasn't doing her job, period. Some sellers are UPS certified. And what that means is if a package is too big, I mean, think about this for a minute as a seller and as a customer. I hope everybody hears this message. I don't know who will, but please listen. If you're UPS certified and you're trying to force a 9 to 6 foot Christmas tree through the United States Post Office, they probably would get mad because that is not their level of delivery. That should go through UPS, not USPS. USPS is created for small packages. They're created for letters. They're created for up to 50 pounds. Well, this person pushed something through that they shouldn't have. As a seller, they knew better. Whatnot accidentally pushed a shipping label out to this person to USPS, what she should have done as a seller, and this is what I would have done personally as a seller, I would have contacted Whatnot and been like, why are you giving me a USPS label for a Christmas tree? When you know I'm UPS certified, this should have been a UPS label, but she didn't. So she made the post office furious, and they busted 200 of her packages. I kid you not, this literally happened. So amongst those packages was a bunch of mine, unfortunately. So because her husband picked the shipping up in the state she lived. Now think about this, tracking numbers were already on these because they were put to the post office. When he picked them up, it showed to Whatnot delivered. You see what I'm saying? I had to print screen where the shipping was picked up, and I'm like, dudes, they weren't going to refund me because they said once an order is delivered, all they can do is give new shipping labels. And I'm like, listen, I've never been to this state in my entire life. It's clear across the United States. I didn't go there and pick this up. So how is this my problem? You should still reimburse me for this. I don't care who picked it up. It wasn't me. So basically, they said once it showed delivered, they wouldn't refund me. They're saying that they have to send her. And he said that was the only order I have not gotten reimbursed yet. Believe me, I'm still fighting with them for it because I've never been to that state. I can prove it. So you have to take a lot of stuff into consideration. And there are Facebook groups where people do talk. You know, if you go into Facebook and you type in like Whatnot and stuff, you will find groups where people talk about this kind of stuff. Like somebody posted on one of the things where, you know, it's a discussion where sellers can help each other. Like, how come I had a sale the other night and I sold stuff in bundles, and instead of getting one shipping label, I got 3 separate shipping labels. And there's other sellers that have been at this a while longer that will give information about it. But I haven't seen this happen to anybody yet, but it did happen to me. And I have emails back and forth to Whatnot. But one thing I can say, Whatnot has been really good to me as far as getting refunded for the mistakes that people have made or cancellations. Like, there was another seller on here one time. Mind you, I'm not in it for the giveaways. I'm not a giveaway goblin. You know, if I win a giveaway, that's fine. But if I don't, I'm okay with that too. So I go into this one seller's one night, and a bunch of us were buying a few things that she had. She never announced it at the beginning of her sale that you had to spend $30 or more to get a giveaway. She never said that. She waited until people picked items. Then she told people at the end of the show, well, if you didn't order more than $30, you can't enter the giveaway. And I'm thinking, buyer is a buyer. whether you spend $1 or $50, what the hell does it matter? I was furious. I put a cancellation in because I told Whatnot, listen, I didn't even, to me, it wasn't the point of the giveaway because I didn't even like the giveaway she had, to be honest. It wasn't my color. She had something in bright yellow. I don't know, just something that I wouldn't enter anyways. But it's the point that I've watched these other people in her whole sale. And then she announces this at the end. And I told Whatnot, well, what if you go into somebody's sale and you only have $20 to spend, or $15 or $5 to spend? Or what if you don't want more than one item? How is a person allowed to say you have to spend? Yeah, like how are you supposed to tell people, well, you can't enter the giveaway unless you spend? Because when you put up the buyer select, anybody that's made a purchase can enter that buyer where they do the picker on Whatnot. So how is that even legal? And then that person came back at me and said something. Well, this person, because I told him, one girl said, you just lost the buyer, and she left. And I put in a cancellation and told Whatnot why I did it, because I was more mad at the other people that wanted the giveaway than myself, because it's just rude. So, and like I told Whatnot, what if you don't want anything else? Like, I'm not going to be forced to purchase something else just to enter a giveaway for an amount of money. So she says, well, this other person, and she named another seller and said, you have to follow people for this person to get the giveaway. That's different. When you're following people, it's free. They're not forcing you to spend. If I had a giveaway and I was trying to help a friend get more followers, like say you and I became friends and you were wanting more followers, and I said, hey, enter this giveaway because you paid and sponsored it, or because I'm doing it for free, and said, follow this person to enter the giveaway. There's nothing wrong with it. It's free. I'm not saying you have to spend more money or less money. And, sometimes people sponsor giveaways, and people will say, follow this person because they sponsored this giveaway and paid for it. But even if they don't, even if I sponsor a giveaway and somebody doesn't follow me, whatever. It is what it is. You can't force people to do stuff they don't want to, but at least it's free. And if you don't want to follow that person, don't enter the giveaway. You know what I mean? I don't know. Some of these giveaways, sometimes I think people, that constantly give giveaways away, people are only there for the giveaways and they're only using them. I've seen people even post on Reddit, I only go to Whatnot to see how many giveaways I could win, but I've never purchased anything. How rude is that to do to people? Ugh, it's just crazy. I know it doesn't matter. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. So you know what I decided to do? I decided that I'm just going to do giveaways when I feel like it. If it's a raid, I might just reduce the cost to something else. I'm not going to turn into a giveaway person. I don't want to have to buy people to win followers. When somebody raids you, it's an honor that they do. But then again, look at your raiders. This is another thing. I don't know. I'm on the fence about a lot of things to do with the giveaways, because I have the person that screwed up and didn't fix my orders rated into somebody else. And it's really sad when you see somebody that is not a good seller. People say, follow that person because they rated me. You see what I'm saying? And they're a terrible seller. It's like, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it, but it is a good discussion. It's a good discussion to have, because that person would not be somebody I promote. And it's funny because there was this other person that knew this one seller was a bad seller. This is so funny. They raided into their stream. They didn't even tell their followers to follow the person back. They just said, thank you for the raid, and left it at that and dropped it and changed the subject because they know they suck. I know that's terrible to say, but it's the truth. They knew they were a bad seller, so they never promoted it. But usually when people come into their stream that are good sellers, they do say, follow that person as a thank you for the read, but this person they didn't because they know they're a bad seller. I just find that hysterical. I think my words would be, if I know they're a good seller, I'll say, this is a good seller, please follow them back. But if somebody reads me that I don't believe is a good seller or I don't know who they are, I just say, you can follow them back and get to know them or take the risk. You know what I mean? Because how do you vouch for somebody if you don't know yet? But these are good discussions. I love having these talks. See, yeah, I know what you mean. Now, on your first comment about the if you entered and you couldn't enter anymore, they actually do that on YouTube too. They will have giveaways and they'll say, if you've already won one, please share. They look at that as a sharing thing. So I don't really have a problem with that if it's not automated. If it's automated on here, if they do what they should do when that happens, Rita, honestly, they should have a wheel and put their buyers' names in it. Seriously. And if your name gets picked, then you can't enter again. It has to be whose ever name's on the wheels that's left. That's where I think the wheel would come in handy. If a person wants to share the giveaways and make sure everybody gets one. Because some people do feel that way. I don't have a problem with that. I just have more of a problem of you have to spend so much to enter. To me, that just doesn't make any sense because a buyer is a buyer. Yeah, I've won quite a few giveaways on here too. It was so funny because here I won a giveaway here recently, and somebody says, "Oh, you said you never win giveaways." I never said that. And when I didn't, I did. But now that I have, I never say that. I do pretty good on giveaways over here. I don't enter a giveaway if I don't need the item, though. That's one thing I can say, and it's no offense to the seller, because I know some sellers are like, well, I must have a really crappy item. It isn't that. I'm at the age where I don't need certain things, if that makes any sense. So if it's not something that I think that I would use, I'm not going to just do it to do it. That's just me as a person. And it has nothing to do with that. But I hate the people that make you feel bad if you don't, or people that scream at you. I don't like those people either. Bid, 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 bid. They scream at you. It's one thing if if a moderator types it in the room, bid up, bid up, bid up to help. But somebody's screaming at me, I'm not really into those people. There's a lot of people that do that on here too. They're like, oh my God, bid up. And it's like, shh. Too many people follow what other people do on this platform. The best thing to me and advice, do you. Don't follow what other sellers do. Be yourself. And I know I can put people to sleep. People on YouTube tell me that. When I do my books, I don't just show the books real fast because some people do like that. Quick, quick, quick. I'm a slow seller. I admit it. I read the synopsises to every single book I sell. You can go to sleep if you want to. At least I know I've accomplished something. And if you don't buy, that's okay. I'm only here to do my best. I'm not here to follow somebody else's mode to try to get people to buy from me. And it is funny though when people come over here and they mock other people. It's like, just do yourself. You don't got to mock somebody else. Let's see. Yeah, me too, Rita. I definitely have my favorite sellers. Oh, well, that's crazy. That if they didn't win, they can't enter again. That's nuts. That's awesome. That's awesome, Rita. There's actually a makeup artist I met on YouTube that does that too. She gets a lot of makeup given to her and she'll take it to domestic violence shelter. That's so awesome. They donate it so that when the women go out and try to get back on their feet and get jobs, that they have some makeup and stuff. That's really nice. But yeah, I mean, I just feel that there's, sometimes when you're in a sale and it's like the people repeat the same things over and over again. Oh my God, I feel like I'm with a robot. I'm a laid back person and I might not do that great. Of course, this isn't my only income. And maybe that's where, they have to sell harder is because it is their income. You know what I mean? But I still think that you could be a good seller without screaming at people. If you've been in one of those shows, oh my God, it's crazy. Or a person will sit there and say, I mean, there's different people that do this in different streams. They'll sit there and say, "Oh, come on, people, bid up, bid up. I can sell this for $300 all day long." Well, if you can sell them for $300 all day long, then why aren't you? That's what I want to say to the person. Why aren't you? Why are you telling people to bid up their prices? And I don't get me wrong. I do know that there's sellers on here that sell cheaper because they know that people are going to resell the items for higher prices. It's almost like you have a mixture of people who are selling to sellers in bulk at a smaller rate because they know that they're going to resell the items. But yet, but when they sit there and do that, I'm sorry, I can't help it. Because if a person can come and get it off of you for less, why would they go to the person that can sell it for $300 all day long? I don't know. To me, I don't know. Just kind of like listen to a car salesman sometimes. I just feel like sometimes these sellers are a load of BS. It's like just be truthful. But it does crack me up when they do that kind of stuff. I just sit and shake my head and I'm like, people really fall for this? And I do have a book that came in my bookstore when I first started it. It's how to start a small business, and it gives you tips and it tells you the ones that go out of business. And this book really did tell the truth because I talked to somebody one time on eBay years ago when I was in Yahoo chat, and he did say to me, they say the biggest failures when it comes to a small business, a brick and mortar store, is a lot of it is like hardware stores, because first off, you have to lease or rent a building, which to me personally, I'll give you the tips on how I started my business. I told my YouTubers, but I would love to share it with whatnot people. I studied for a long time before I started my bookstore, because when you get a lease or rent, that puts pressure on you. Just like when you used to have a mall and they had to pay rent, you have to come up with that money plus make a profit. That's a lot of stress, in my opinion. So they would go out, they would lease and pay rent, and then they would use loans to buy up all the products that they needed to go in. So they said most of the times those stores fail because when they go to start selling the supplies, they're not making the money back from the loans. So they end up having to file bankruptcy. So then this guy told me what he would do as an eBay seller is he would wait for a business to fall, and then he would go give them an offer to try to help them get out of debt for a decent amount because they're desperate at that point. He would buy up all the hardware and then he would put it in his store on eBay because he's not paying for a brick and mortar store. So listening to these other people is how I learned. When I went to do my used bookstore, I told my husband, books aren't a necessity. Your necessities, when you think about it in life, are what? Food, clothing, and shelter. So that's why grocery stores, when they started putting books and different other categories and mixing them together, they do better because when you go there, you're getting multiple items. They actually put like Walden's bookstore and those places out of business because they were given cheaper prices too. And Walden's had to keep making their books get higher because they were paying rent. Hey, Saw. So I told my husband if I started a business, I would want to own the building. Well, the house I live in, this is the garage right here. Um, the bottom part of this house, I guess, used to be a cabinet making business before we lived here. And I didn't know that until a yard sale, somebody told me. But I told my husband the whole bottom of our house is awesome for a store in itself. I said, so we're buying our house, so why not just put a business right downstairs? That way I could do my business from home. So I went and got a license and it's hanging on my wall. I opened it up to the public. I set up a business in my downstairs of my house. It was wonderful because I didn't pay rent, didn't pay lease, and I worked another job. I was doing skilled living in home care. All the cash from that paid for everything to set up my store. So once I got my store all set up, my Post-it notes, my pens, my computer, my printer, anything that I needed to do with business, I could always count towards my business when I did my taxes. And you can count part of your electricity and whatever you use, like, whatever the bill is for cable. Like we have an amount because I do the bookkeeping and then I take it to the lady that does our taxes. And then she gave me ideas on, what to count. And she told me how to label the head of my paper. So I keep track of that. I just hand it in to her at the end of the year. And then she does the taxes. So it's really awesome. Even selling on Whatnot or Etsy, I just take in whatever my sales are and the percent that they charge, and they take 30 cents off of every sale here, where Etsy, it's 20 cents to post your stuff. And that's just what I mean. I figure out all the math myself and just take it to her and she does it. But because of this, I had just got the store set up, paid cash for everything, owed nothing. I had no loans or nothing. Just started making a profit and COVID hit. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. I told my husband, I can't win. Because then they shut everything down. Google even shut down my store hours and everything. I know it was crazy. So now I didn't know what to do with myself because, I did curbside pickup for a little while, but people want to come in and browse and they couldn't do it. So then I thought, I thought about taking it to a platform, but it's like, if you look at Amazon, you look at eBay, they take out so much money that even for a used book, if you look at the prices, unless you're like a Goodwill or a nonprofit, it's like $8 to sell a used book to make anything. I did their FBA calculator. If I sold a book for $5, and by the time I took everything, I was left with negative 14 cents by their calculator. So unless you're like, if you look at who the sellers are over there, it's like $8 or higher for their books, unless you're Goodwill and a nonprofit, then you can sell them for lower. But look on Amazon next time you're there. So people don't realize that even though you're paying Prime, you're really not getting a deal, because if you're selling a used book for $8, that's all factored in. Where I can sell books here still for $1 on Whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Because there are books I do have for $1. My prices are whatever, I have certain ranges depending on the condition of the book, the quality of the book, and then I price them what I would pay for them. I don't go by eBay or Amazon. I don't look up prices for my books. The only time I would do that is if it was a book maybe from like 1901 or 1800s. But other than that, no. I'm going to price, if I saw this at a yard sale, what would I pay for it? And some people were like, well, if you only sell for $1, and I feel for the people in the book section, because some people do them in bundles, and I don't want to step on toes and make them mad because I'm only selling for $1, but they have to realize each state is different in economic level. You're not going to have the same prices in West Virginia that you have in California. It's impossible. California is so expensive. There are other states that's way expensive. Florida's way more expensive than we are. We're probably like one of the poorest states ever. You can still go to a yard sale here and get a book between 10 cents and 25 cents. So what people don't understand is Harlequin romances, for instance, little skinny books. If I sell it here, I'm still making what, 43.50 profit through Whatnot, selling it for $1. You know how much you make off of those in a yard sale here? You're lucky to make 10, 25 cents. So I'm still making a profit. That's what some people don't understand when I put certain books for $1. I might be making change, but I'm still making more than selling it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get them mad, but at the same time, the prices I put on my stuff is what I see fit. It isn't a competition for me, so I don't know. But anyways, I can't live up to other people's standards. I just got to do me. And if people like it, they like it. They don't, they don't. I don't know what to tell them because I'm not going to change, If I was doing this for a living, maybe I would think of things differently, but Whatnot's not my living. Whatnot is extra income on top of my husband's. If I had to be a business person, and I'll be honest about it, if I had to do this for a living, I don't know if I could. Because I think being a business person is tough. I think the competition's tough. I think staying on top of everything is tough. And this isn't even what I went to college for. My college degree is working in the mental health field. So, it's not like I went to school for this. It's like everything I do on this platform, I'm just really being me. Yeah, exactly. Hey, SD, that's what I said. I'm just me on here, just like I am on YouTube. I'm just who I am. I can't pretend to be something I'm not. And plus, when you do pretend to be something you're not, people see through your BS anyways. Eventually stuff comes out. What do they always say? If a person who lies or pretends to be something else, it always comes back to bite you in the ass. It's called karma. I'll pass on that. I'm always going to be who I am. People accept me, they accept me, but I can't be, I used to be in technology and just like me and my husband, you know how hard it is to stay on top of everything when everything new keeps coming out and, stay, because I used to fix computers and, maintain things and stuff, but it gets out of hand. Like when Windows 10 came out, I was done. Like I knew everything from Home Edition, Pro, the easy stuff. I knew how to format computers, do all that kind of stuff, but it's hard staying on top of the changes all the time. It's a lot of work. So I do have kudos for the people who are into business and they stay on top of it and they do very well. I mean, bless you, because this is a lot of work. It is a lot of work especially when you're running your own business, you're doing the sales and then you got to do the packing and all that kind of stuff. It's not easy doing it, being a seller sometimes. So I bless the people that do for a living, but I couldn't do this for my main income. I've worked taking care of my elderly people. I've done many jobs in my life. I've been an airbrush painter. I used to paint blow molds, all the laid up Christmas items you would see in people's yards. I've done all kinds of jobs in my life, but I always worked labor. So labor's not easy. I remember when I took my daughter to work with me, I used to work at a place in Pennsylvania where we painted molds and blow molds, and I took her there one summer. 110 degrees heat. You definitely dropped 3 pant sizes within so many months because you were sweating, working on the lines. And my daughter was in tears, like, Mom, how do you do this? Because I worked there for 3 years. And I said, you got to do what you got to do to pay for your kids. I mean, that's just what you did. And she says, I couldn't handle it. I said, then you better focus on what you choose to go to college for. Now, my oldest daughter has a bachelor's in business. And she's really good at what she does. She does HR manager and stuff for different places. She's not like she's worked in sales, but she's more of a HR type person, like doing scheduling and things like that. She's really good at that kind of stuff. And my youngest, she works in the field where she takes care of elderly people, so she takes that after me. Oh my goodness, you poor girl. Farm is a lot of work. My mother used to be part of her parents raised her on a farm. It's a lot of work. And that in itself is another job. I can raise a seed. I get this seed up about that big, and that's about the extent of it, and I'm killing everything. My mom says I either don't water it enough or I overwater. She tested me one time because my mom's got a green thumb. She gave me this plant. She says, if you kill this Tammy, I give up. And I did. I have fake flowers all through my house. I can't do it. I'm terrible at growing stuff. I told my husband, thank God I'm not the end of the world here trying to help people survive, because I definitely wouldn't be able to feed them. I would kill everything. Oh my goodness, you girl. Oh, that's a lot of work, Rita. Holy cow. I believe it. I believe it. I started out babysitting. I've bartended. I've worked at McDonald's. I've worked as a blow mold person. I've worked in a photo place. I've done a lot of different jobs in my lifetime too. Worked in private in-home care. I worked in the kitchen at a nursing home. I got a long record. But I did enjoy airbrush painting. I mean, it was fun. I liked being crafty when I worked with the blow molds, but man, 110 degrees heat. I was dying when I came home. But we had a great crew. I still have my boss and some of the people I worked with on my Facebook. We kept in touch after all these years, which was really nice. I worked in the greenery for uh Lowe's. I worked in the greenhouse there for a little while. I was trying. They were always telling me I didn't water the trees enough, so I was constantly with the hose watering trees. I am terrible with the green thumb. I really am. I wish I knew a little more about gardening. My brother and my nephew are really good at gardening. They do really good gardens. I'm terrible at it though. My husband does okay. We had a small garden in our old house. He would go, Tammy, don't forget to go out and weed the green beans. Because we used to have to weed the garden before we would go swimming as kids when my mom and dad put a garden in. So I know how to weed it. I just don't know how to grow it. That's too funny. But that in itself is a job when you think about it. I used to say that they should have that for prisons. You know how everybody's always complaining we're paying taxpayers money for people in prison and in jail. Well, why don't they have a garden and teach them how to garden? I mean, they do have some programs where they bring animals in that they have to care for, but I wouldn't see nothing wrong with a garden. I think that would be cool. Yes, I can only imagine. My mom and dad had tomatoes. Um, they had onions. They had cabbage because my mom always canned. They had corn, green beans, peas. I remember my sister and my mom, I hate peas, but my sister and my mom would pop the pods as they were walking through the garden and just eat it fresh right out of the garden. I remember things like that when I was a kid, but we had to go weed the garden before we could go swimming. That was our chore to help. And then we would cut the kernels off of the corn when mom would can the corn. I'm sitting there eating the corn. I like the corn fresh off the cob. I never liked it after she froze it and made it like a cream corn. I liked it right off the cob fresh. She's, Tammy, stop eating it. You're supposed to be helping me. And then she would put it in bags and freeze it. And she would always do the tomatoes. She would have pure tomato juice, and then she would have some tomato jars with chunks of tomatoes in it. And she would use, I think she would take the one that was pure and use it for her Spanish rice, and she would use the ones in the chunks to do sloppy joes. We'd make sloppy joes out of all the homemade, but there was nothing like homemade. Oh, it was so good. Her canning food was delicious. And she would do jelly sometimes too. Oh, 9 kids. There was 3 of us. But a lot of farming people had a bunch of kids. I think my mom was one of 6. So they had chickens and cows, and she would tell me stories when they were kids. My mom's favorite pastime was walking through cow patties. When I think of how much the times have changed, I'm like, really, Mom? She goes, yeah. She says, we were kids, right when a cow would go poop. She said the cow patties would be warm and we'd sink our bare feet in them. And I just laugh at her. I mean, the things that kids used to do in different generations is hysterical. Hey, 9 dimes. How far we have come. You should have seen her the first time she did a computer. She would sit down, and my mom was petrified of a computer. She was like, I'm afraid to touch anything. I said, Mom, you have a phone and you touch your phone. So I ordered her a touch screen. And I said, now you can actually play. She was just always afraid of the keyboard for some reason. But when I got her the touch screen, she didn't have no problem. I said, it's just like a giant phone, but you just touch it. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. I can't even imagine what my grandparents would do looking at a computer. Oh, macaroni and tomatoes sounds good. Mom, she used to make a chili and she would put elbow macaronis in it. She didn't always do it, but she did it for a while. But gosh, I love her vegetable soup. My mom makes the best vegetable soup ever. I tried to do a recipe one time off the internet and my dog wouldn't even eat it. It was that bad. But hers, she said, it's all about the soup bone. Like you got to get the soup bone and you got to flavor and then do the stuff like she does real homemade soup. And another thing is apple pies. I think that's probably my best. Is I perfected her apple pies, and my mom and dad have been married over 60 years, so it's really cute because he always tells my mom he married her for her pie crust. But she doesn't do them anymore, as you get older, because they're in her 80s now. But she said that she says the frozen Pillsbury are not that bad compared to what I made. But I started this pie recipe for apple pies that didn't turn out. It actually was an accidental pie. And everybody, every year, I have to make 8 pies every year. 4 apple and 4 pumpkin is what I got coming up because the guys just go crazy over my apple pie. And it was all an accident. That would happen, but it will. Well, thanks for stopping, Rita. This was a great conversation. Thank you so much. Yeah, I got to go anyways. I had to go take care of my dog, but this was nice. I think community talks are awesome. But like I said, check out some Facebook groups. They do have some whatnot Facebook groups that you can get advice from. People are always saying, hey, I did this or this happened at this sale. And then you have other people give advice. It's really cool. I have a couple of them I like reading. But I want to thank everybody who tuned in, and hey to my YouTube people that stopped by too. I miss you guys. One of these times I will do a live just for you once I get caught up after the holidays, because I do miss crafting. And I'm under My Crafty Styles and Tammy's Passions on YouTube, but mainly Tammy's Passions right now. I'll get back to My Crafty Styles eventually. I just got to downsize my bookstore first. But I want to thank everybody who listened, who came in And like I said, if you want any information on how to donate to the North Carolina victims, it'll be under Tammy's Passions. Under my description is channels you can watch that will keep you updated. And it's just really sad what happened to these people. Please keep all these families in your prayers because it was really bad for North Carolina. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Pretty! Oh my goodness, a pretty raid. I was just getting ready to leave. Well, welcome. Welcome to my pretty raid. Hey, Julie. Yes, I get to be on here and I have my camera finally pointed at me so you can see me in my little granny bun. This is my cleaning hairdo. Oh, well, shit, if I'd have known you was going to raid, I'd have something put up for you. Let me see here. What can I stick over here? If anybody's interested in this, this is actually a really good. I'm going to stick this over here. Let me change this real quick. Come on, let me edit. We'll put this over here if anybody's interested. I'll knock this down. This is a $4 book. It's like brand new, and it is so awesome. I'll stick it in auction. I'm really not selling anything tonight. This is just more of a craft and chat, or not a craft and chat, a donation in chat. But I'll run this for you guys. If anybody's interested in a nice new cookbook as a thank you for the raid, I'll run it for $1 instead of $4 because this is a good one. Thank you. I wanted to let everybody know that if anybody's interested into donating to anybody on the people who were in North Carolina that were affected by the hurricane, under Tammy's Passions, I put, or you can rewatch this video, this show later. I put the descriptions of 3 different channels you could watch for the updates of what they need if anybody's interested in donating, and a couple really good channels over here where you could buy stuff in bulk. I showed items because this month is my gratitude month. So I will be giving back, and I have a bunch of boxes that I showed the items that I'm donating, from gloves and beanie hats for winter to just a bunch of different items to donate to the North Carolina victims. All the states, there's a lot of states that got affected, but for some reason, North Carolina's just really pulled at my heartstrings on this one. And there is a channel you can watch on YouTube. Please go check this channel out. If you get the chance, just watch a few of the videos. It's called Deep River Farm 3615. I will stick it in here so you can actually search this on YouTube, because this tells you a lot more than the news. And in his description, he's part of a Baptist church. He will tell you the details of what's going on and the needs of the people in the mountains there. And these are very good channels, let me tell you, and they're legit. I just wish I could get one from Florida and one from Georgia. I wish I had two more channels. So if you ever find any YouTube channels that will report from them 2 states, please let me know, because I only found. All right, Prinny, thanks for the raid, and thanks to everybody for coming in. Deep River Farm 3615, Patera, she covered Tennessee, and it was awesome because they did really good coverage that the news didn't get of what's really going on. So you have a good one, Prinny. Don't let the jailbirds bite. So anyways, that's pretty much my show tonight, was just that. It wasn't really about selling tonight. It was more about giving. Beaties! I told Prinny Beanie you would be a perfect candidate for her World Collide because your ephemera is awesome in your journals. I love Beanie's journals. I own a few of them. I love them. Love them. One of them is going to be gifted, which I'm pretty excited about that. And there'll be some sellers I'll be coming up with some more thank yous to in the future. Because I get a couple gifts and sending out to a couple sellers, but there's some that I'm going to show appreciation for how they treated me when I came over here. Prinny Corn was the one that most educated me when it came to how Whatnot works. She was on film with me and just turn it towards your computer, and she was showing me how to do certain things that I couldn't find on here because every platform is kind of the same. It's just buttons are in different places. So she was showing me how, where I go to click to generate, to make my, to print my labels for sales and stuff like that. Like she showed me a bunch of different things. She was a very guiding hand. She tells everybody not to tell her she's nice, but Prinny can be nice. She's a lot of fun, even though she's sarcastic. She was very helpful to me on this platform. Very awesome. So, but anyways, I want to thank everybody for coming in. But I got to go take care of my puppy. I think she's up running around doing the pee-pee dance. We had a bad storm here today, so. But thanks everybody for coming. Thanks for coming in on the raid. And like I said, if you want to know anything about the donations, if a person wants to donate to the North Carolina victims, there's the information. Good night, Julie. And thanks for everybody that makes people feel welcome, because it's very important on this platform. That's something I will always carry with me, is no matter what stream you're in, when people say hello to you and make you feel welcome, that is so awesome. Julie, she should have a medal in that one. She's always telling everybody hello. That's a good thing. That's a good quality, Julie. Like I shared before you guys get in here, I ran a chat room on Yahoo for 6 years, and there was a guy, Clint, we're still friends with, that I'm still friends with to this day. He's from Tennessee, and he said, I went to a bunch of different chat rooms, and he says, I even went to my state chat room and nobody said hello. He says, I come into your chat room and I had like 15 hellos flying up the screen. He says, and for that reason, you'll always have me as a guest. And when people feel welcome, it's awesome. So I try to make people feel welcome as much as I can. Sometimes Whatnot doesn't let me see the names, but I do try. Because, my computer will show some names in here. I don't know why my phone doesn't show it. But if I don't say hello to you, it's because I really either can't see your name or I have literally missed you, but I will try to. Welcome back, 9. But other than that, I hope everybody has a blessed evening. I'm going to go play with my puppy, and I hope the conversation helped, because I think community is very important over here. And there are some Facebook pages that you can go to that if you need any kind of customer support and people, have issues on here, they talk to each other about it. And it's really nice that they have Facebook pages that do that. So I will see you all soon. Except you won't probably see me. It'll be pointing back down to my books again eventually. I'm going to have some up and some down because my one other daughter wants to sell on here one time. She wants to try it on my channel. So you'll get to meet my youngest. My last sale was my oldest daughter. My youngest daughter wants to try it just to see what it's like sometimes. So I'll have a future sale coming up where the camera will either be up, but when I do books, it'll be pointing down to the books. And I'll either put you to sleep or you'll have fun, whichever. But with that, I'll see you guys. Thanks for coming. Let's see, who can we raid? Let's see who's on. Why am I not getting anybody up I see that I know? Anybody see anybody on? Hold on. Let me see. Got to do a raid because we like doing our raids over here. I'm looking. Give me a second. Don't leave. Just give me a minute. I'll find somebody. Let me go over here. Let me find some. Oh, was Malik on? I love Malik. Malik. He goes. It looks like Malik, but it's Malik. J. Let me see if I get this right. J. Okay, wait a minute here. You ready? Let me get the rate up. I want you guys to meet somebody who's very, very nice. He's not in the paper ephemera. He owns a jewelry store and he does the bear bricks. And he is one of the nicest sellers on here. So this is where we're going all. When you get there, send in diamonds.